It was a chilly November afternoon in the bustling heart of New York City. The sidewalks bustled with holiday shoppers, the air alive with the smell of roasted chestnuts, car exhaust, and the faint promise of snow. Sophie and her younger brother, Jamie, trudged through the chaos, their father's stern words echoing in their ears. "Here's $50. Go to the butcher on 5th and bring back a turkey for Thanksgiving dinner, and no funny business." Sophie, being 14, considered herself the responsible one. Jamie, at 12, had a knack for finding trouble. Clutching the cash, Sophie had every intention of marching straight to the butcher. But as they passed the flickering neon sign of Tony's Arcade, Jamie froze. "Just one game, Sophie," he pleaded, his brown eyes wide with excitement. "We've got time." Sophie hesitated, the butcher shop only a few blocks away. "Fine," she relented. "But one game. Dad will kill us if we're late." One game turned into 2, then 10, the coins disappearing faster than they realized. Sophie's competitive streak kicked in, and soon she was battling Jamie for the high score on Alien Invaders. By the time they emerged, dusk had settled over the city, and Sophie's stomach twisted when she checked her pocket. They had only $8 left. "Great, Jamie," she snapped. "What are we supposed to tell Dad? Hey, we blew the turkey money on video games?" "Relax," Jamie said, though he sounded nervous. "Maybe we can get a smaller one." As they argued, a gruff voice interrupted. "Turkey troubles, huh?" The siblings spun around to see a man standing near the curb. He was tall, gaunt, with greasy black hair tucked under a stained baseball cap. His smile revealed yellowed teeth, and his hands were jammed into the pockets of a weathered jacket. "I couldn't help but overhear," he continued, his voice oozing like syrup. "You need a turkey? I've got one, and it's your lucky day. I'll let it go for, oh, say, $8. Sophie frowned. "Seriously? A turkey for $8? The man grinned wider. "Perfectly good bird? Fresh. Got it right here." He gestured to a white van parked on the corner. It gleamed unnaturally, the kind of pristine that didn't belong on a city street. Jamie, intrigued, nudged Sophie. "Come on, what's the worst that could happen?" Everything about the situation screamed bad idea, but desperation outweighed common sense. They followed the man to the van. With a theatrical flourish, he slid open the back door, revealing a single turkey, wrapped neatly in plastic. It looked perfect, plump golden skin peeking through the wrap, as though it had just stepped out of a food magazine. "Deal?" the man asked, his eyes glinting. Sophie hesitated, but Jamie handed over the crumpled bills. The man snatched the money, shoved the turkey into Jamie's arms, and without another word, slid the door shut and drove off into the night. The turkey sat on the dining table the next day, a centerpiece of perfection. Sophie felt a twinge of guilt as their father carved into it, oblivious to its shady acquisition. Plates were passed, and the family, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Sophie, Jamie, and their dog, Ranger, dug in. The first sign of something wrong came as dessert was being served. A low, wet, scraping sound drew their attention to the table. The turkey moved. At first they thought it was a trick of the eye. Then from the side where it had been carved, something protruded, thin, black, and jointed, a leg. A spider leg. Grandma screamed as the turkey twitched and skittered off the table, scattering plates and silverware. The family bolted for the living room, slamming the door behind them as the turkey thumped against it from the other side. "Is this some kind of sick joke?" Dad bellowed, holding a chair like a weapon. "We didn't know," Sophie cried. The thumping grew louder, more insistent. as the turkey rammed the door. The sound of wood splintering filled the air. Suddenly, Ranger growled low in his throat and lunged at the door. "Ranger, no!" Jamie shouted, but it was too late. The dog burst through the splintered gap, barking wildly. For a moment there was a cacophony of growls, screeches, and the sounds of a fierce struggle. Then, silence. The family huddled together, trembling. Finally, Sophie cracked the door open, heart pounding. Ranger lay on the floor, wagging his tail lazily. His belly was comically round, his tongue lolling out in contentment. "What?" Sophie whispered. Jamie knelt beside the dog, inspecting him. Nearby lay the remains of the turkey, a carcass ripped to shreds, its spider legs twisted and motionless. "Good boy, Ranger," Jamie murmured, scratching the dog's ears. Dad collapsed into a chair, wiping his forehead. "Well," he said shakily, "I guess we're ordering pizza." The family laughed nervously, the adrenaline slowly draining from their systems. But as Sophie cleaned up the mess later that night, she swore she saw something small skitter across the floor and disappear into the shadows. And deep in the recesses of her mind, she could still hear the man's voice. "Your lucky day.